hello, and welcome to another update on MarkTwainZephyr.com. Also, our Facebook and Twitter pages at Mark Twain Zephyr. I'm Robert Tabor, Director of Passenger Development for the Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad, and thanks for joining us. It is Sunday, June 13th, 2021, and we got another update for you. Yeah, I'm just enjoying some time, just relaxing here on the rear end of the Tom Sawyer for today's update. And we're going to talk all about electrical work and HVAC work. We've had several emails over the last couple of months from our normal Sunday viewers who wanted to know a little bit more about some of the electrical and air conditioning work. So we're going to devote the whole special today just to heating and HVAC and some of the wiring the guys are doing. So we start out with Bob, our master carpenter, who is actually on the floor right now, I'm told, in the Huckleberry Finn, where he is hooking up some of the heaters and also going to be working on the air conditioning. Bob, what's the latest you got for us? So what are you? This is I guess this is the passenger car that probably needs is going to get the most attention and the most amount of work still, since a lot of the other ones are done. So
we just finished off putting a trim on the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
We had baseboard. Hey, down here I'm talking.
Everybody wants to check out your trim there.
A second to see the trim.
Okay.
We had heaters in here. These baseboard heaters were set up and wired in for the winter, so we could work in somewhat warmth. And now we're just going through and we're getting everything wired in permanently. We got the electrical closet back yonder. We just put that in yesterday.
Oh wow.
Put another door in. Trying to get some stuff set up because eventually here in the real near future we're gonna have to do some work with the air conditioning units.
Okay.
Wanna kind of try and get them in all set in place.
Well, it's probably over 100 degrees in here, so that means
she's toasty.
She'll be able to have some air while you're working then.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that'll be good. That'll be real nice.
Besides the hot air that comes out of Robert's. Oh wait.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's well needed, but we kind of got to get them all set in place. It's a new unit. We've never used them before.
Okay.
You know, a new unit in a peculiar setting, you know, so we get everything set in place and get some guidance hopefully from an air conditioner guy.
Okay.
Because we won't do the line sets, we won't charge them with Freon. Kind of get some exact things on what he wants done prior. But try to get it in sooner than later, because once midsummer gets here, they get so busy.
That's true.
You can't even get them here.
So now this is the wiring work you're doing on the heater.
Yeah.
And what does each of these wires do?
Carry electricity.
Okay. Which ones are you not supposed to touch?
The live ones.
Oh, okay. So the wires are just kind of syncing each of the units up?
Three-phase, so it's just a series of breaking it down. So each register is used twice on each phase.
Okay.
Because everything needs to be balanced out three-phase. You got three legs. That way, when everything comes down to the end scene, it's hooked into a generator. Each leg throughout the train should be pulling the same amount. Because if one leg pulls too much, it throws things out of balance and it's hard on a generator.
Hey, when people pull your leg, I tell you.
Oh, I know, because it might come off. It's a prosthetic.
So back there is the kitchen area. So are you gonna renovate that probably before you put the carpeting and everything in here?
I don't know, but it's getting to the point once this is done in here. A lot of the interior stuff is done besides the bathrooms.
Yeah.
The bathrooms, that kitchen area. So we're going to have to really start addressing some of the stuff underneath the cars.
Okay.
And that was kind of the game plan originally, was, through the winter and early spring, get as much as the interior done as possible, and then do all the work underneath, because we're going to have sewage tanks fabricated for the spaces that are available underneath. You've got to get underneath there and see where there is available space. There's a lot of stuff that's not necessary under there any longer, because everything was steam heat. So there's probably hundreds and hundreds of feet of pipe that aren't needed no longer. We've been slowly pulling that out as much as we can. But it's getting to the point where we really have to narrow it down and figure out what's going to go where. We got to get holding tanks under, this one because it's got a kitchen in it, so it's going to have to hold water. The Tom Sawyer has 2 bathrooms in it, so that one's going to need holding tanks for water. And I think the Effie Dean has a bar in it and 2 toilets, so that'll also need water.
All right. Well, we better let you get back to work, and we'll check back with you in a couple weeks. Thanks, Bob, for the update here on the Huckleberry Finn.
Adios.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bob. Very interesting. I'm going to move to the other section of the Tom Sawyer here in just a minute. But before I do, let's go to a video segment, a very special video segment we taped earlier with John Lindberg. He is our supervisor of engineers here at the Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad. Also does a lot of our radio systems, and he helped design some of the thermostats inside each of the cars. And we asked him to kind of show us his design and how it works. So without further ado, let's send it to John Lindberg.
And we designed a heating and cooling system for the Zephyr cars that are automatic, so that they're more like Amtrak's. If you wanted to spend the money to put the Amtrak ones in, that would be fine, but it would be very, very expensive. So we've come up with our own system using small microprocessors called Arduinos, and we've built where the temperature in the car stays at 72 degrees plus or minus 2 degrees, depending on what time of the year it is, and it takes care of itself automatically. That way nobody can mess with them, and they always stay going. So if you want to take a shot of that, I can explain what's going on there. Right now it's telling me that it's trying, zone 1 is below temperature, so it should say on. Zone 2 is right at temperature, and there it says on, and on.
Is that each half of the car, zone 1 and 2?
Right, that's correct.
Okay.
And there it shows the air conditioning is off naturally, because it would be below the minimum of, it would have to get to 74 degrees before the air conditioning would come on, but it says the nominal temperature in here is 72.
Okay.
And the hind one here, the reason it says 196 below zero, which is impossible, is the reason is for that is we don't have that sensor hooked up yet. If you want to take a shot around the corner here, we can show the sensor. No, go outside.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's take a look.
Here's right here.
Is
the sensor. Robert hasn't built the box to put it in, but these are the sensors that keep track of each end of the car to tell what's going to be. And what this unit does inside here is it's a small microprocessor that runs some solid state relays, and the solid state relays throw contactors in for the electric heat, or just a relay for the air conditioner.
Interesting.
So that's how that's all runs.
So you designed this whole system yourself, or
I designed the wiring of it and all that. I'm not going to take credit for programming it, because Gail Sorum, who used to work for Cray Research, and you can look that up in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. He did the programming for me. I told him what we were doing and what we wanted, and he says, sure, I can figure out something, and he came up with that. I do all the programming as far as changing things and one thing and another, but that's going to be, I'm planning on leaving.
Retiring,
July 1st.
Okay.
I turned 70 years old, and I said, that's enough. Time to go play myself.
Yeah.
And I'm teaching Robert, not you.
Bob. Bob, as we know, yeah.
Bob, as we know it, to how to program.
You wouldn't wanted me doing this, no.
Right. Now we have this same system on our locomotives.
Really?
For heating the water.
Oh, okay.
As you know, we have antifreeze in the locomotives now, but we didn't in the beginning. And what we have is a system where there's an outside temperature sensor, like the one I showed you around the corner, outside of the locomotive. If it's above 50 degrees outside, the heating system, when it's plugged in, does not run. When it's below 50 degrees, it does, and it keeps the locomotive water temperature at 85 degrees.
Wow.
And it constantly maintains that, judging by the outside air and the outside air temperature, and also we have our own system on that we've built.
So where do you learn to do something like this? So is it maybe one of your former careers, or did you just like tinkering around and kind of came up with this?
I've always liked electronics. I'm an amateur radio operator.
Okay.
And I've been for a long time, since the late 80s. And I like electronics, so I always figure out ways and like to find ways to make things more automatic and more useful. This is probably kind of a crude system in all reality, but it works perfectly here. It keeps the temperature where you want it, and that's the main thing. This is the internal workings on one of our controllers that we've made. This is for both this will run both the locomotive water systems and also the cars here on the Mark Twain. Anyway, this is the power unit. Powers the whole controller. It's a 5-volt unit, runs all the way up to 240 volts in, 5 volts out. This is your display board. This is the microprocessor underneath here. And these are the solid state relays. And we use the solid state relays to control the 110 volt contactors right here. These are 50 amp contactors for the heat. And we have a smaller one that goes right here that's not in right now because this is still in the process of being worked on, and that is also for the air conditioning. It's a smaller contactor. So basically what this does is take place of a thermostat on a car, and the reason behind it like this is it can't be monkeyed with, and it's self-maintaining. So we can plug it in whether it's 80 above or 20 below, and the car temperature will come up to 72 and stay there.
Without somebody manually having to hit a thermostat like you have in your home.
Right. There's everything is taken care of by this unit, and of course it can be bypassed. This is of course not done yet because it's in the process of being made. That's why it's kind of messy. But anyway, that's what all.
And then something you designed yourself again.
All this is
came up with the ideas and everything for all this. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
All designed by us at the WGN. To make it so that we don't have to worry about it, because I understand what's been happening over the years is. Let's take, for instance, you've got some people like in the dinner train. We have these in our dinner train too.
Oh, you have them already in the dinner train?
They've been in the dinner train for quite a while. Then you've got somebody that is working in the train, and I understand how this could happen, in the evening putting the train away. And it's hot.
Yeah.
Say it's hot outside, and they've been running back and forth, so they're hot. So they turn the air conditioning on and turn it. They used to be manually have to turn them on and off, the air conditioning and the heat. Well, they turned the air conditioning way up because they were warm. And of course, you come in there in the morning, and you know how Wisconsin is, the temperature goes down during the evening.
Yeah.
And in the summertime, and it'd be icicles in the car. It would be so cold because they were hot.
But those passengers who were on the train all night were needing extra blankets and were chilly. Yeah.
Then you have to get the train ready to go in the morning. I'm talking about the dinner train more than the bed and breakfast.
Yeah. Okay.
And now you've got to warm the car up. So you're using a whole bunch more electricity to warm the car up. With electric heat. You were using it all night when you're doing it. So I was asked to come up with a system that would work more like Amtrak's, where it stays at a constant temperature. And so far so good. It's been working real well. The only problem we have now is to keep them all the electrical rooms so they don't shut breakers off on us.
Well, very cool, and it's very neat to meet the person behind all our heating and cooling and designing that new system. Thanks so much, Don, for joining us. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Very cool. Thank you.
All right.
Well, I had to move to the other end of the Tom Sawyer because, boy, I can't decide which side of the car I like even more sitting in, the beautiful chairs in the observation end or the wonderful swivelly chairs here, very comfortable in the other end of the Tom Sawyer. Anyway, we hope you learned a little bit more about some of the thermostats, the HVAC, some of the wiring, a lot of the behind the scenes work that's going on here at the Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad this week. So thanks a lot, Bob, and thanks a lot, John, for both providing us that information. We'll be back next week. It'll be June 20th next week with another update on all the hard work going on here as we begin the early summer season at the Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad as we continue hard at work on the Mark Twain Zephyr. For now, I'm Robert Tabor, Director of Passenger Development for the Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Sunday. Thanks so much for joining us for another update on the Mark Twain Zephyr at the Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad. Before you go, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's really easy. Depending on what browser you have, just click on the red subscribe button on the lower right-hand side below the video screen, or perhaps it might be in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. This way, you won't miss any of our future updates. For restoration updates throughout the week, head over to marktwainzephyr.com and click on the Restoration Updates link. We usually add a few photos during the week. Our next video update will be next Sunday afternoon. And remember, you can stay in touch with us throughout the week 24/7 on social media. We mainly use Facebook at Mark Twain Zephyr. We also occasionally use Twitter at Mark Twain Zephyr as well. Once again, thanks for following us and liking us and supporting the Mark Twain Zephyr restoration effort at the Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad. We'll see you back next Sunday at this time.